This is covered.
Getting everything sorted out so we can get things started.
I'm going to take my shirt off.
Well, not yet.
Nope,
Not yet.
nope.
That's going to be for the next
That's
thing.
different. That's the Saint French version. Bonjour!
Wow. See us over at, what's that called? Those dirty perp sites.
Pornography.
Fans only.
Yeah.
Fans for friends.
Yeah, yep. Boy, this started sideways, didn't it? Wow. Well, we're back. Welcome back.
It's like that one time when I was driving down the road and there was this ad. It was when that's what it was. It was when the stories all broke about Ashley Madison. Which I had no clue what that was.
I didn't either.
And so all I heard was, coming back, we'll cover what's new with Ashley Madison and all the hype around that. And I thought, oh, they're finally doing a Billy Madison sequel. They came back. I was pretty disappointed.
Turns out Adam Sandler wasn't part of that at all.
We're just sharing stories of people being pervy in public. Is all we're doing.
So welcome into a Sinner and Saint podcast.
Hope you weren't found on Ashley Madison, and hope. Well, I guess I don't care if you have OnlyFans. I just. What is it? Is it fans only? OnlyFans?
It's one of those two.
It's not a wholesale website for circulating or oscillating fans.
Not
just for clarification.
No, I go to Menards for those because I like to save big money. Not a sponsor. I like to save big money at Menards.
11%. Save 11%.
Eddie, we are struggling.
Okay, Eddie, help us out, buddy.
We need some help here.
It will be exactly time to get a drink. Just a little drink.
Okay.
Any little drink.
You love the meow. You love to bring in the cat.
You speak banjo. I sing cat.
I guess. Yep. Every time. You do that a lot.
Cilantro.
This looks much better than
Not
the last
chunky.
Episodes.
Not chunky at all.
Thank goodness. This looks like this kind of looks like a Dark Manhattan.
It does, and it's.
Are you recycling?
No,
we haven't.
This is actually called an Italian Summer. So there's no gin in it. You'll be happy to know. So this is a little. Ooh,
it's really sweet.
Yeah. So this is cognac.
Cognac.
So cognac's it's
the barbarian.
Like it's a lot of loincloth. Cognac's a lot of loincloth. Cognac is a fortified wine, so it is going to be a little sweeter. This also has sweet vermouth in it, as well as amaro.
Amaro.
See you
then.
Mm-hmm.
I like my wine like I like my women, fortified.
She's a real sturdy gal. Real sturdy gal. Yeah.
Cognac.
It's a little bitter.
It's which is why
Amaro.
I'm like, that's the Amaro, not the gin.
There's no gin in this.
I know, but
yeah. So it's not the gin.
Gin's
You're right.
bitter.
You're right.
So I was like, because I was going to say this tastes like a drink we've had before.
Gin's not bitter.
I don't know. It's
Maybe
whatever it is.
You're bitter about gin.
Well, breaking out the truth. Digging below the surface here with Ben and Patrick on the Sinner and Saint podcast, where we discover the best and worst of these two scumbags.
Are we doing Shock Jock voices?
I did.
Welcome into K105.
It'll be real nice.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
He likes that deep voice.
We did this between episodes.
I figured out how to do this in the Twix commercials, right? When they're like, like I used to spend my teenage years. I would sit in my room and do that. Just be like,
oh yeah. Will you do the?
It's not prolonged.
Will you do the Aladdin thing for me again, please?
Diamond in the rough.
It's so good. It's so good.
I'm a voice artist. You can hire me for I don't know what.
For fans only. You can do your fans only over.
For your wholesale distribution oscillating fans.
Look at my feet. I'm showing all 10 toes.
Dirty. It's dirty. What is this called? Italian Summer.
Italian Summer.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about last episode. I find these drinks all over the place.
All over. Bathroom stalls, showers.
Yep.
Underside of the milk carton.
This one I found under the 17th quill of a porcupine halfway up a pine tree. White pine.
At the top of that, was there
real soft needles.
A bare-breasted pecker head?
Yep, that's exactly what it was called. The porcupine was headed up there to eat it.
Well, good.
Porcupines love birds.
Very carnivorous.
Now, I thought there was a moratorium on me ever talking birds to you.
Not me. I can talk birds all I want.
No, but you don't want to hear
birds
me
for
talk.
days.
Oh, so now I just get to listen.
I
to
can
you
tease
talk
you
birds.
about your birdiness. Birdiness.
I like.
You're so birdie.
I like bird watching.
I know you do.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do. Audubon Society. It's all out there.
Yeah, a lot of elderly. A lot of blue hairs.
I've got a friend. We have friends from college who their son just got accepted to college because he wants to go study aviary.
Ornithology?
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
What that stuff?
Yeah.
That stuff.
That's cool. Yeah.
And
He could maybe study it in an aviary.
Is that what it is? Is that?
Yeah. It's a bird sanctuary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wasn't off.
No. Unless, is he going to be an architect? Is he going to build aviaries?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think he's going to study. I don't know.
I know you had a specific direction you wanted this show to go, but
I'm not going anywhere.
I did have one question, or one story real quick. A few years back, I found a hummingbird on the street, and it had a broken wing. And I found north of Westfield, there's this woman who does like bird rehabilitation. So I took it to her. Legit. I took a hummingbird with a broken wing to be rehabilitated, to which she told me it's going to die because even when the wing gets strong and heals, like, it's still fragile, so it's going to re-break. But that's not the story. The story was, this woman, you are so bored, I love it. This woman had a raven just flying around in her house. And she was this old British woman, and the raven's name was Edgar. And she said, Edgar, we have company. Come say hello, Edgar. And the bird just flew right up to her, and I was like, this is crazy. And I left. And I never went back, and the hummingbird died.
Thank you for that. Thank you. That's nice. Hummingbirds in Jamaica, it's their national bird. I don't know if it's called a hummingbird. It's okay. I don't care. But they have really long tails, like 18-inch tails.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can actually see them. They're easier to see than a regular hummingbird, but they're beautiful. And they're a little bit bigger than I think North American hummingbirds.
Okay. That's cool.
I think so. It's pretty cool. Hummingbirds are pretty. We stayed at an Airbnb in Nashville, Indiana, and it was out in the hills, a log cabin. It was in a neighborhood. We weren't remote, but they had all these hummingbird feeders outside, and you could go out and sit on the swing, and the hummingbirds would come up and just surround you, and you're kind of like, whoa, this is wild. Awesome. They weren't spooked at all by people being there. They're like, we don't care about you. We want our food. Give us the nectar.
Sweet nectar. Give us the nectar. It's so cool.
Nice.
So cool.
I'm glad you like that so much. I don't know I don't use that voice a lot, but I don't know if anybody would appreciate it as much as you do. So.
Well, dear listeners, buckle in, because that's going to become a mainstay. Welcome to the Center and Sing
Here's what I wanted to know. I was thinking about this. I'm like, we've not talked about this, and this would be a fun topic.
Brand new to me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I wanted to spring this on you.
All right.
Nicknames. What are nicknames that you have had over the history of your life?
Can't be said on the air.
Oh, really? You've got dirty nicknames.
Well, I mean, you get yourself an ex-wife, you get some nicknames.
Fair enough.
Really?
Because
go ahead.
Your name is Ben, right? It's not a shortened form of Benonite or Benjamin or
my full name's Benjamin.
Benihana.
It is
Benjamin.
Well, my full name's Benjamin Ihana. But it's a mouthful.
I thought it was just Ben.
No, it's the full name's Benjamin.
Okay.
Yeah.
My full name's Patrick.
I would like my full name to be Ben. I don't need all that pomp and circumstance following the
You don't need the jammin'?
I don't need jammin'.
Jammin'?
I don't need the jammin' of honey.
So Ben is a nickname. I mean, we gotta go there.
Yeah, I guess my name is my nickname.
Yeah, well.
Which is interesting because
is real? Is anything real?
All of my siblings we have
shortened versions of your full name.
Yeah, we're all four names.
My parents both go by their middle name.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Would you want to go by your middle name?
No, because it's my dad's name.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd be like,
Yeah.
I was called him most of my life anyway, which is fine. But Although I hated my name. So I hated my name growing up because I became, my last name being Probst, take the initials of your name, I automatically become PP, which is awesome. My wife and I talked. Jeez, I thought I could hold there. It's hilarious. My wife and I talked about like names matter. You gotta go through naming your kids. You gotta go through all the tests. Like, do the initials work out? You can't give your kid initials that spell something that they're going to be, be made fun of or ridicule, the source of ridicule. My parents obviously they didn't do that test. They didn't go through that at all. They didn't think about that.
I don't think they cared about you.
Well, we know that. I was
putting it out there.
PP through most of my childhood.
PP. Okay.
And then during the 90s, SNL had a nice little skit. Shut up. Yes, thank you. The androgynous character on SNL. That's and I'm not, I'm Patrick. People are like, Pat or Patrick. I'm like, Patrick. There are 2 people in my entire life who've gotten away with calling me Pat, which was the...
Mom and Dad?
No, gosh, no. My mom was like, your name is Patrick. If I wanted you to be called Pat, I would have named you Pat. Like, so she's
Who's gotten away with it? I'm not one of them.
No, you're not. My other best friend from college, he gets away with it.
The guy you kissed in the middle of the night?
No, that was he called me Patrick. This was Ben, the other Ben in my life.
Got another Ben?
Yeah, that's true.
Fist fight, you other Ben.
He calls me Pat, and it works. Like, for whatever reason, it doesn't give me cringe.
Yeah.
But then also, I had an elderly neighbor who called me Pat, and it was, for me, it was kind of like, I'm not going to correct him. Like,
Sure.
Anybody else who does it, yeah. Anybody else who does it, like, it is seething.
I've got a buddy.
It's seething. And I've got some people that are like, you're not a Pat. And I'm like, no, I am not a Pat.
Yeah.
Not that there's wrong with Pats, but...
Did you ever go by Rick? Did you ever go by Patch?
So funny, like in high school, I worked at Ponderosa, and it was not in my hometown, it was the next town over, so a lot of the high school kids that worked there were not from my high school, and they're like, Patrick, do you go by Pat? And I'm like, no, in fact, I hate that, but some people still do that. And they're like, oh, okay. And then like there was a little lull in conversation, and one of the guys came back and he's like, I'm gonna call you Trick then. And I was like, why? He's like, well, if people wear out the first half of your, he's like, let's make up by using just the second half of your name. He's like, I'm gonna call you Trick. And I'm like, so I became
Tricky to Rocco, round to Rocco, round half right on time.
It's Tricky!
Tricky. Sorry, I just got.
I couldn't. So from my sophomore year on, like Trick became a nickname for it was a select group of people that called me that, and then P became a nickname later on with a group of friends. Yeah. So one small group of friends called me P Diddy. They're like, "Hey, P Diddy."
Yeah. No, I think that was someone else.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. And Dork and Butthead. My sister calls me Butthead, term of endearment. And that was just because I did a skit of Beavis and Butthead probably in high school. That was the one. So she always took that on. I think that's it. Yeah, my kids. I love this. My youngest calls me Dada. Not so much anymore it was Mama and Dada, not just Dad. So I always kind of was like, I like that. I like that. I like Dada.
Dada.
Yeah.
What'd your other kids call you?
I think it's not permissible for the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it family friendly.
A lot of cuss words.
Hey, you!
Yeah, that's interesting. We all have called me and my siblings have all called my mother. We all have our own word for
Really?
it. My sister, my brother Nick has always called her Mom. My brother Chris has always called her Pat or Patricia.
Be nice here. Be nice.
I've always called her Flo,
Okay.
and my sister's always called her Mama.
Mama?
Yeah, like with 2 L's on the end.
Yeah.
Mama. And
Flo.
Yeah.
Because?
Mel's Diner, that show. Alice.
Okay.
And Mel's Diner had that waitress Flo. And I think when Dumb and Dumber came out, like when we were in high school, my mom brought dinner. I was like, thanks, Flo. And then it just stuck. Yeah. So yeah. Your Pat and Patrick thing reminds me of, I have a buddy who only the select group of his close friends may call him Dave. Otherwise he's David.
Okay.
So he's like, I've always called him Dave, but he, like, professionally in new settings, he's David. He's not Dave.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some people that go through some of those changes, different points in life. You usually try to lock that in pretty early. Like, if you're a Tommy in junior high, you go to Tom as you move into college or high school or whatever. But, so all that's it. Obviously, Patty became a name. More a nickname of ridicule.
I could see you pulling off Patch, but...
Patch.
Now, let me ask you this. Your contacts in your cell phone, like, are they the people's names or are they nicknames?
They're what I call them.
Okay.
So, yeah. And I don't have a lot of people that I have special or unique nicknames with.
Yeah.
So,
because it's funny because I realized,
like, are your parents in your cell phone? Are they?
So they are. Pop is in there simply as Pop. My mother is in there as Flo, and then in parentheses in all caps, act sober. No joke. It's been that way for like 10 or 12 years.
Yeah.
But like there have been times where like I've been at a bar. And she'll call, and I'll just like be like, "Should I get that?" And somebody will be like, "No, man, it says act sober, like in caps."
Too much, man. You're not winning any Oscars today.
Like if there is a nickname, like I have a nickname for you, you are in my phone as that nickname.
Yeah.
And so,
which is
Big Gravy.
Yeah,
you are Big Gravy.
I don't know where it comes from, but
you are Big Gravy.
How'd you come to that?
I think one day I just called you Big Gravy, and I think that's all it was.
And
there was no, but
like,
I was like, Big Gravy, like that's,
And you shared that with a friend of mine.
I did at your daughter's open house.
A while, and she was like,
she loved it.
She's like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, she loved Big Gravy. But like if I go down through, it's like I've always called my sister. I don't call her Kim, I call her sister.
Okay.
And so she's in my phone as sister, and it's if anyone has a nickname, it's like my buddy. Yeah, my buddy Kyle. His nickname is H, and so he's in my phone as AECH. So.
Okay. That's how you spell out H.
It is. It's nerdy from a book. But anyways, it's a book that you and I both really enjoy.
Yeah, that's something I was thinking about. I was like, nicknames, I'm curious.
Nicknames are fun. Yeah, I've had, so growing up, those of you who don't know,
who didn't grow up with you. He didn't grow up with me.
You didn't grow up with me. My name was Ben Ford. It still is, Ben Ford.
Wow.
But that's when Tim the Toolman, what was that?
Tim the Toolman Taylor?
Yeah, what was that show called? With
Home Improvement.
There you go. All of his tools were Benford tools.
Uh-huh.
You run my name together, it's Benford.
Benford. Yeah.
And so it was dumb.
My roommate, so the other Ben in my life, we were roommates together, and we talked about, and I think I've even referenced this, that he was just this massive farter. When he would fall asleep, and so I nicknamed him Beano.
Oh yeah.
But we always talked about how like that would be my kid's name for him.
Be Uncle Beano.
Uncle Beano. This is Uncle Beano. And then we always had this like the next phase of that was like we were gonna have our kids do these horrible things as like ways to greet them. So like my kids were gonna come up and be like Uncle Beano, and then like swinging his crotch or something.
Oh my God. Uncle Beano! Uncle Beano! Wow.
No, kids. That he likes that.
No, he loves it. He loves getting racked out.
That's a fun game for him. Yeah.
In my high school days, the Ford Motor Company, their thing was Ford Tough. So Tough became a nickname. The two big ones have been Science and Mick.
Okay.
Have been my nicknames.
I call you Ben. Like
yes, very few people call me anything but Ben. My wife calls me Pep. My sister calls me B, but that's it. I've never been.
Now in high school, I was Probst, just sports, athletics, like that. So it was on the back of my football uniform.
Yeah,
so my coach pretty common.
My coach called me some pretty unmentionable things.
Well, Okay, I wanted to make sure I knew all those.
Yeah. So my college degree was chemistry. So when I bartended, they called me Science. And so, but then some other guys that I worked with at the bar started calling me Mick because that's like the derogatory term for an Irish person. Yeah. And so, which is fine. It's not bothersome to me, even though, some of our family was from Ireland. So yeah, but no one ever really calls me anything but Ben.
In about 10 years, I'm going to call you Love Shack.
Okay. I will stay tuned for the details of how the origin story plays out.
Who sings Love Shack?
Oh, the B-52s.
Yeah.
So when I turned 52, I gotcha. Cool. You got 9 years to the day, buddy. 9 years to the day. You can call me Love Shack.
Change. I'll be like, happy birthday, Love Shack.
And I'd be like, I died 2 years ago. Yeah. Sorry, Ben died last summer. Here lies Love Shack. What would? So this is interesting. When people died years ago, it was like, here lies Tom Collins. He died fighting a bear.
Whoa.
Something like, and now it's just like in loving memory or like
sure.
an Aerosmith quote or something like that. What would
legacy stuff?
What would the ultimate? And I know we've talked about like your tombstone is sausage and mushroom, but if you could have the most epic epitaph of how you died, how would you like to have died?
Based on the way I'm currently living, epic way of dying.
Don't have to be the way you could. I mean,
well, I just gotta think of like, okay, well, like, what's believable? Like, what's gonna be?
Doesn't have to be believable. It's the most epic way you died. He died handling 19 cobras at once.
Yeah, no way. He screaming, running from the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He died running from 19 cobras at once.
And it's kind of like you get, I'm like, maybe I die on a float trip, and I'm like, well, that'd be horrible for my friends. Like, I don't want to do that.
Hold on. Let's make this the Sinner and Saint version. Let's turn this into our Sinner and Saint epitaph. Best way you could die has to be he died saving nuns from a burning convent, right? Wow. So like you die a hero, that's your saint epitaph. Your sinner epitaph is he died eating 19 pounds of brisket.
Choked on a piece of pizza crust. Choked on a donut. Guy went out
in his underwear with only one sock on. It gets more specific. He died choking on a pizza crust in his boxer shorts in the kitchen.
In front of his laptop where he had a bulk order for fans.
Where he had 41 awesome fans in his checkout basket.
People say I should love this website, but I just don't know what I'm going to do with all these fans.
Oh my gosh, it only sells fans.
It's only fans. I guess I'll take a black one. That one's a bladeless fan. Maybe that'd be cool.
Ooh, that's one of those high energy. It just looks like a halo.
I wonder if that gives me a robot voice if I talk into it. Oh, that's a fan shaped like feet. That's kind of neat.
Ooh, those blades are pizza crusts.
Okay, I'll throw that back to you. That's a weird question.
I don't know.
I'm gonna play off of yours.
We don't have to.
Maybe yours will be super exciting.
I'll stick with the.
Maybe it'll spark an idea.
I'll stick with I saved nuns burning from a burning convent.
You spend a lot of time around convents. That you'll be able to do that.
No, I'm sure there's a convent in most downtown areas.
Oh, okay.
Aren't they evangelizing?
I think a lot of.
Oh, okay.
Nunnery. I think a lot of that's moved to social. A lot of their missions have moved to social action.
Not in my head.
A lot of it's integration.
Okay.
A lot of it's pro-life, and they don't really operate in convents or nunneries.
Do orphanages still exist?
No, we have a broken foster care system that operates there.
What about Riley Children's Hospital? Is that still operational?
It's out there, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It was burning down, and this guy saved all the children he could.
Aww.
And then the smoke inhalation got him, and he died.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm making myself the real hero.
You are amazing.
Yeah.
You are amazing.
And I saved Peyton Manning.
You can donate too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
because I think it's Peyton Manning Children's Hospital now.
You can donate at what's that? Give Butter? No.
Centeringsaint.org.
Oh,
wait,
just,
what? No.
Just go directly.
Okay.
What is it that people are always setting up funds for, like
March of Dimes or something?
No, gosh, no. You're thinking
the GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
Yeah, GoFundMe.
If you'd like to support Ben with his GoFundMe of saving the children from Children's Hospital and saving Peyton Manning.
I will say, quick PSA here. As someone, no joke, who has lost a family member to childhood cancer, donate. If you can donate. It helps. Ronald McDonald House is great. Donate there. That's great.
Like you just killed that.
I sure did. Well, so
talk about birds. I'm going to step away for a second.
So this woman had a raven. His name was Edgar.
So you're going to save children from the birding hospital.
That's what
and your worst moment, your worst epitaph.
My worst epitaph. It's got to be something I was doing like in the prime of stupidity, like. He was burning a pile of Christmas trees and like doused it in gasoline just to watch it. And
it was cold and wet out, so he used gasoline as an accelerant.
And here lies idiot who burnt himself to death.
Idiot.
Or I could see myself eating myself to death. That'd be a good one.
Eating yourself? Oh, you mean not like
no. Yes. No.
Sorry, that was the first image of like...
Yeah, no. Not a Donner situation. Or a Donner
cannibalism.
situation.
I just...
more of just like... I can finish that whole brisket.
Oh, I'm eating all that. Just because you said I couldn't.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's probably my sinner. Like, I'm dying out of... Somebody said I couldn't do something, and I'm like, watch this.
Yeah, you can't jump out of that hot air balloon and catch that tree, write it down like a skateboard. The hell I can't. I'd be right
I've done... We're talking, like, things that were known for... Like, I've done enough funeral eulogies in my life. That, like, when I... The first few... I would say probably the first... Boy, at least the first dozen, if not a couple dozen. Well, so here's where it came. The clarity for me was when it was somebody I knew that passed away. Like, as a minister, you're asked to do people, folks in the community who just don't have, they need somebody to do it. So you go and offer that.
You're asked to do their services, their final services.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said, I'm asked to do people in the community. So, I just trying to help you out of that.
Go buy one of my fans.
It oscillates.
It has a clerical collar. So it's okay. It'll bore you to sleep in 20 minutes. The first time somebody when you're doing the eulogy for somebody like, and you start putting it together, you realize, like, I don't know this person.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, I know very, very little about this person. And as I've, 25 years of doing this, every time I've gone to a funeral, the family's always, anytime there's a time of sharing their stories, they're like, I had no idea about them. I didn't know that about them. I didn't know that story. Yeah. And I'm like, that's kind of the craziness of life. Yeah. Is there are people that only know a slice of you. They only know work you, or they only know 20-year-old you, or whatever. Yeah. And that's their
context care.
That's their that's their lens by which they see you. Yeah. And so, like, funerals are really great in that spec, because you're like, no, you're gonna get the spectrum. Like, we're gonna share the stories and the spectrum of this person's life, because even as your spouse, you do not know everything about your spouse.
No, I don't want to either.
That's just impossible, right? There's some people that think they can or should, or that is possible.
Those people are control freaks.
Probably, yes. But so it's like, no, they have experiences in work, if they have a hobby, if they play on a sports league, anything like that, like that they've built these stories or experiences that are completely apart from you that you don't have access to.
Sure.
And so it's always kind of fun to share those stories, and people will be like, Oh, that just gave me a different dynamic or a different perspective. Kind of rounds out the person I knew.
It's funny because we've talked about that here, how we have gotten to know each other so much more just by doing this.
Oh yeah.
And like things that we just never would have talked about, even though we would get together a couple times a month.
Yeah.
We just never went in depth like we do here because here we're not scripted but themed, I guess. So we're talking about things with intention. Whereas when we get together for dinner, it's just like we're catching up. Hey, what are you reading?
Yeah.
Are you writing anything? Like, are you know? And so
it was kind of releasing the pressure valve. Like, here's your chance to kind of come and talk and share what's on your mind, whatever's most pressing. Yeah. Where the moment we started doing the podcast, it was kind of like, well, now we kind of get to push the boundaries, and I don't know why, but I think it was like, well, part of it too was a filter, right? Like we're not sharing the day to day in the podcast. Like we're not going to be that closely intimate with the podcast.
Yeah.
Anything that we're sharing has got to be 5+ years old.
I had pizza for dinner last night.
Yeah, and just a little different dynamic to the approach of the conversation. Where when we get together, it was us complaining about family frustrations, marriage frustrations, work frustrations.
Sure.
But also the fun. We weren't just getting together to complain. Nice job, you nailed that.
Oh, hit it. 3, Kobe. Oh,
too soon.
Too soon. Hold on. Can I change my center way I died? Mm-hmm. I died by doing this podcast.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened. Yeah.
That's a center way?
Yeah.
That's her. Oh,
yeah.
That's my saint way.
You little tickle at the end.
Let me shine up my halo.
I play the church organ. Yeah, I guess I put you in a weird corner there with like let's write our epitaphs, Center and Saint Wise. Nicknames you say.
I'm not gonna have one like that. I'm not gonna have one. Which we talked about before. So.
Yeah, which is funny because when you're talking.
Although I would say like there'll be some sort of memorial service that'll be done. I'm assuming in my passing.
If there's one for me, they didn't get it. Nobody got the memo.
I'm throwing one. I'm be like, hey, we're going to show up, be gnarly, and then we're doing a bunch of Irish goodbyes until everybody's gone.
Oh, I do love the Irish goodbye. Oh man, are you a fan of the Irish goodbye? I feel like you're not. I feel like you're a properly say goodbye to people.
I'm a properly say goodbye to people.
I love dipping. I love Irish goodbying.
Yeah. To the point that I had to call you out on it when we get together and eat meat because you'd get up and leave the table with no word, and I'd be like, "Are you leaving? Are you just?"
I would now. Let's clarify. I would pay my bill. You almost make it sound like I'm sticking you with the bill when we would hang out. That wasn't the case.
Just saying, there's still moments abound.
So here's the thing. I get to, in social functions, I get to my quitting point. And I know it's coming, and I know when I get there. And so I'll just be like, yeah, I'm done.
You just duck out.
I'm just done.
Yeah.
And so I do duck out, but a lot of times I'll do like hey, where's your restroom? And then I'll just leave. And one of my favorite ones was I went to my folks' house 4 or 5 years ago, and we made this like family recipe of tacos that we make as like the shells, and so it was hot. It was super hot out. Pop and I are out on the deck frying the taco shells on the grill, and you take them in while they're hot. Everyone just has lunch without us. So then by the time Pop and I eat, everybody's done.
It's done, yeah.
Which is that's abnormal for my folks' house. Everybody eats together.
Everybody eats together.
But then like my brother and his wife went upstairs to take a nap. My mom went to take a nap. Pop fell asleep in the chair, and it's like 2:30 in the afternoon. And my sister and I are sitting there hanging out, and I'm like, so I came up here to make food? Okay. And it was a nice day, and I mean, it was hot, but it was a nice day. I had ridden up there, and so I looked at my sister, and I was like, are you familiar with the term Irish goodbye? And she goes, no, and I just winked at her and walked out the deck door. I just went out the deck, got on my motorcycle, and went for a ride, and I just went home after that.
I think for me, like, for me, it's just like, I don't have to say goodbye to everybody, but at least to the host, I'm going to be like, hey, thanks for the party.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know, I'm cutting out, right? Like, and more of a just like, yeah, I don't know.
No.
So I'm trying to, as I'm thinking about this, I'm trying to process how much of that's just social obligation.
I don't care, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it. I'm a jerk. Like, I'm a selfish person. Like, I understand that. I get that. But, like, also, I will front load. So, like, when I get to the party, hey, thanks for having me. This is great. Yeah, right. Boy, this was fantastic. You put a lot of work into today. Like, I'll do all the compliments at the beginning.
I gotta say this: you're not blowing up their skirt, right? You're genuine in that, and so like,
if I come over and like you,
this isn't
I'm
prescriptive.
not, yeah.
Some people are like, well, you're just being prescriptive, and you're following,
no.
And I'm like, no, it's genuine. Like, I do appreciate it.
Like, you had me over last weekend,
and
a mutual friend, and I gotta share this. That was fun for me. Because our friend had never been to your house.
It was a little different. I enjoyed it, but I was like, "Is this what you want to do?" Like,
so that's where I'm going.
Because in the back of my head, I was like, "Was this a little bit obligatory?" Because I hope it wasn't. But,
no, not at all.
You're not one to deal with obligatory, particularly with me. We have a good enough relationship. You're like, I don't want to do this.
I can say for me and our mutual friend, we had a great time.
Yeah.
But what I loved was that kind of, I don't know what you would call it. It felt a little voyeuristic, but like watching you and him have a conversation where, like, we were in your kitchen and you guys were talking about like biblical theology and stuff.
Yeah.
And like watching you guys interact, and I intentionally kind of stayed out of it because I was like, this is fascinating. Because like I know both of you very, very well, and I was like, it was so much fun to watch two of my best friends be better friends, like have their own, and like to have a window into that.
Yeah,
it was super cool.
Have a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, it was super cool, and then I put my shirt back on. It was great.
It was nice.
Yeah.
That's mainly why we had the conversation.
Oh, I could hear you. I could hear you the whole time. Yeah.
I've got another friend, and she does. I don't think she knows it's an Irish goodbye, but she does that. She just ducks out. And I think for me, it's a. And I don't know if this is. For you, it's not so much an issue, because I've thought about this. But for her, it's a little bit of an issue, because I'm just kind of like, what? I just want to know you're heading out and you're safe, and like, I want to know when you left, so that if there's an issue, like, and I would say no, that also applies to you. You
did get really upset when I would just go to the restroom at the restaurant. I would just stand up and walk away, and you always would be like,
what are you doing, man?
Are you leaving? Are you good? What are you doing? Yeah, man, I'm just going to the restroom. But like,
I've
always been there. I've never, and then I was like, must go throw a fastball. I'm going number one. I guess the polite thing would be like, I'll be right back, or please excuse me.
Yeah. You just get, there'd be a pause in the conversation, and you'd be like, oh. Okay. All right.
Oh, mid-podcast. Sorry, mid-podcast. That's my bad.
Yeah. It was exactly like that, folks.
It was. We would just be talking, and there'd be a break in conversation. I'd be like, okay, this is where I go do my...
I guess he's had to go to the bathroom.
This is where I go do my dirty business.
Yeah. Hope he's okay back there.
Yeah. Sometimes I would just watch TV in the bathroom.
Whatever worked. Whatever you need to do. It didn't matter to me.
We ran out of things to talk about. It's official.
We're done.
It's official.
It took 28 episodes.
The second video. Yeah. The second video we ran out of things to talk about. That's too bad.
Well, we kind of covered the Sinner Saint Epitaph stuff.
We did.
Ishness. I would want... This is weird. Like, what I was going to say, like, the thing that I want from people is, like... And this is weird... But I would be like, he just great. Like, when you got a Patrick hug, like, everything else disappeared. I don't know why that matters to me, but that matters to me.
It'd be good. You're a safe space.
Oh, and I'm a physical love is an important way of articulating love. So and that's mattered. Like, yeah,
that's a good one.
And I'm protective. I'm protective of people. Like, I've always been. Protective of those in my circle, so like I want them to have a safe either the feeling of safety, or I want them to know that like when they're with me, they're safe.
Yeah.
Before they head back out into the craziness of the world.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I go. How about you? Boy, that's
For what is it?
introspective. Just how do you want people to be like? Yeah, that's nice. Like, that's the thing I appreciate about Ben. Like,
he left me alone. Yeah. I don't know what I would want people to remember me for. I don't know, because I don't really.
You don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what people think of me.
Care.
And I don't really enjoy most people.
Yeah.
So.
But those in your circle, like you got.
Yeah, I've got close friends. He left me alone.
Yeah.
When I wanted to be left alone, he left me alone.
I would say they're gonna say things like
They would say he was generous.
yeah. Yes.
They would. I guess I am he. I am he.
Wow.
Yeah, they would say that I'm generous. They would say that like I'm. I don't know. What would you say? You're my friend. What would you say?
Yeah,
about
no,
my guy?
you always provided a space of hospitality. Like
There you
you're a gracious host.
There you go.
So your generosity, you're thoughtful.
Yep. He didn't like being touched.
He did not. You don't know what that Patrick hug of.
Go on.
We left one meeting together, and gosh, this was recently. This was last year.
Oh.
We left the meeting together, and as we were in the parking lot saying goodbye, I went in for a hug, and you just kind of think we're along for the ride, and it was like, well, that was the weirdest, most awkward thing.
I didn't want to offend you.
Yeah, no,
We've been friends for a long time.
You're like, I'm just gonna. You were like my roommate at that moment. And you were like, just ride it out, just ride it out.
Cammy?
No, the one from college where I had the dream and leaned over. No, Abe. Yeah, where I kissed him in my dream.
Yeah, it was weird. It was super weird because we've always been handshakers. And so
I don't know. That moment was magical, and I thought I felt it, and you didn't feel it. And
I did not.
And I was like, "Well, we'll never do that again."
And we haven't.
That was incredibly awkward. Yeah.
Who did we offend today?
What did we talk about today? We talked about
nicknames. Yep.
Oh,
we talked about epitaphs.
Anybody who's called me Pat, and I've corrected some people, and they still called me Pat, and that's even worse.
Yeah.
If you're those people and you're listening to this, knock it off.
Yeah.
Listen. That's just in general. This is that's also a cultural thing. Like if somebody says this is my name, respect them enough to learn their name, even if it's a name that is difficult to pronounce. Show them that you're like, hey, will you correct me if I'm saying this wrong?
Yeah.
Like, I want to say this right. Like, I want to call you your name. I don't want to call you an abbreviation of your name. Since you've introduced yourself to me as such,
sure, I
want to meet you there.
Yeah.
Like, that matters. Pay attention to people when they say who they are.
Yeah.
And how they're introducing themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. We offended anybody who wanted us to be better looking.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, people that are just like, what was wrong with the audio podcast?
Sorry.
This is...
Yeah. This guy might die in a minute, so we...
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, we're going to... Technology is going to force us out of here.
Yeah.
Lessons I learned. Nicknames are a form of endearment, and it's fun when they happen spontaneous. But they can also be a voice of derision. And those people just cut them out of your life.
Yeah,
Amy,
I'm apparently...
You're on the short list.
Apparently nicknameless, so I'm good with that. I'm good not being able to be nicknamed.
Ben, your life is a nickname. You are a nickname.
Thanks a lot.
All right, here's my blessing. I feel like it's pretty generic. Go into your week embodying the name that you are and the name that people who are endearing.
Endearing.
If you get to offer crap cocktails every once in a while, I get to offer a crap spirit out into the world. So
Sure.
Just
Sure.
own who you are and what you are
go do
and what
some
that
things.
means. And
have
hope you don't
the-
show up on a tombstone.
Go have the fun. Yeah. And until
And
then,
those things.
we'll see you next time. We don't know anything we're doing. We don't know how to do this stuff.
Oh boy.
All right. Give us a 5-star rating. Please tell your friends. Please. You kept going, Mr. Ghost. Needs it. Thank you guys for joining us on a Center and Saint podcast.
See you next episode.